and welcome to my YouTube channel, Only Art Here. I'm so happy to see you guys over here, and this is my first video, and in this video you'll be seeing how to draw a realistic eye. We'll be going step by step, and I'll also mention all the things that I've been using in this tutorial in the description below. You can check that out, and feel free to subscribe and hit that notification button, and you'll get notified when I upload my next video. I'm not consistent, but I'm always sincere in my work. So help me grow, guys. And a quick tip when you're watching this video, if you use headphones, they would work really well for your audio quality. So otherwise, without further ado, let's just get onto the video.
First, I'm starting with a nice sketch. I use a dark pencil, then I lighten up everything with a clay eraser. Always make sure the proportions are right, and if you don't get it right, you could always use a grid. I'm always drawing from a lighter to a darker transition. This would make your picture more realistic. When you draw the highlight, make sure it's nice and irregular, which will make it even more realistic. I'm using an 8B pencil for the inner darker areas, and then slowly I'm making it a 6B, then a 5B, a 3B, and at last a HB. So use HB pencils for the lighter shades. Right now I'm just softening out all those edges, and make sure that you don't have any hard lines, which will make it very artificial. So you have to be very careful that you have very soft lines. Now I'm using a clay eraser just to lift off that graphite, because in my reference picture there is not a very dark region right here. So I'm just putting a little bit of graphite, then I lift it up with a clay eraser, and I'm blending it with my blending stump. You could always use a Q-tip if you don't have a blending stump. Now I'm creating a nice shadow in the regions where we're supposed to show depth. This will make the eye even more 3D. I usually just put in all the pencil, and then I use my blending stump to nice and lighten up everything and smudge it to make it more softer. Especially inside the eye, the details are very important. Whenever I start drawing an eye, this is a very nice tip that you could follow too. Always start from the inner corner, because that will help you as a guideline to form the rest of the eye. Using a reference picture is a very mandatory thing most of the time, because you don't always have to draw from your mind. When you see a reference picture, you don't have to draw exactly like that, but it'll also give you a proportion, and at the same time you'll know and you'll have an idea of what you're drawing. You can't just blindly look at a blank paper and then you would get confused, so that would always help you to use a reference picture. Make sure you're sitting in a nice and bright area, because that will help you to know how much graphite you're putting onto the paper, and also some of the graphites reflect the light, which does not really look good, and at the same time there are other darker graphites that are matte finish. So when you have both together on the paper, and it will not really look good. I'm slowly adding layers of 8B pencil and 6B pencils, because that will help me darken up the areas where it shows more depth in my reference picture. And also, if you notice that in the inner area it's much more darker, and at the same time there are lots of highlights showing the water in the eye. So always make sure that you capture each and one of those details and make it perfectly same as the reference picture. It is okay to make some changes, but make sure you have the idea of the reference. Using my blending stump, I'm just blending it out everything on the eye, and I just want to make it more and gray because the more white it is, it will look really artificial. I'm having this portion of the video a little slowed down because I want you guys to all see what I'm doing. If you want, you could also draw with me, but if you're not, you could always feel free to just fast forward. To just lift up that graphite and making a sharp line. I'm not saying a hard line, but a sharp line. This sharp line will tell us where the skin and the eyeball meets, and it won't just merge everything together. As you can see, I'm just sharpening it out, and I'm making a nice detailed line right there. I'm just making this place a little more darker because over there we can see a shadow. Concentrate more on the details and the proportions. Details and proportions are very important aspects while it comes to drawing. Especially when you want to draw something realistic, you need the anatomy of the body and at the same time the proportion of the body to be very similar and perfectly right. Because if it goes wrong, everything's just gonna mess up. And you'll get more of a cartoony type of look. Keep your tools handy because you'll always need them often, so I just like having them in my left hand and I use them like this. So now I'm just using a nice light HB pen to make a solid layer, but at the same time a very light layer. So in my reference picture I don't really see a line here, but in my drawing I would like to have it. creating the skin right now, and the more darker I go, the more depth it creates, because the darks highlights of the picture is what it's going to give you a nice 3D look. Alright, time to fast forward. Now I'm using the 8B pencil to nice and darken up all those areas. I'm also using a brush to smudge out all those hard lines. I'm using the clay eraser to nice and lift up all those highlights inside the eye. Now I'm adding the reflection of the eyelashes inside to make it more realistic. Make sure the direction of the eyelashes are perfect because they're the toughest part. I'm so sorry for this autofocus. And now we have our final piece. Always remember to put your sign because that's what makes it yours. Ta-da!
That's it for this video, everyone. I'm so happy that you guys saw it, and before leaving, I just want to tell a great thanks to all the friends who've been telling me to start a YouTube channel, and the help of my parents. I really appreciate everything, and I'm so happy and thankful to all of you. So I really hope you liked this video, and make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!